Hey Wellness Point family, it's Dr. Chad. Today I want to talk to you guys about gut health. If you guys are practice members in this office, or if you've gone to orientation, you know on a subluxated spine causes dysfunction in the nervous system. Since that system controls the function of all the other organ systems, there is no way that your gut, your intestines, can function at 100%. So if you're battling with some gut issues and you've never seen a chiropractor before, you need to get checked for subluxation first and foremost. And number two, if you have specific gut issue needs, you need to contact a registered dietitian to make sure that they can specialize things to make sure that they work for you. So I'm just going to go over some things in gut health in general so you kind of know how it works. So the first thing you need to know about your gut is if you have gut issues, it can lead to problems with breaking down and assimilating all of the nutrients that you consume. It can affect your immune system. It can also affect your mood and your sleep. So a lot of times people will come in, or they're practice members at the office, and they're on a gluten-free, a casein-free, a soy-free diet. They don't drink any milk, or they don't eat any yogurt because they have an intolerance to it, and then they get adjusted and they're wondering why they're not getting any better. So with the gut, you need to understand that even though it's gluten-free or casein-free, those foods can still be pro-inflammatory. So in a healthy gut, the gut is not perforated, and everything that's inside the gut stays in the gut, and everything that's outside the gut stays outside the gut. Everything that needs to stay in stays in, and everything that needs to go out goes out. So what happens with inflammation, if you consume those gluten-free Oreos or those gluten-free cookies or the oats, right, that are gluten-free, even though they're gluten-free, it doesn't make them anti-inflammatory. So what inflammation does over time, slowly, 5, 10, 15 years, it causes inflammation in the gut. And when the gut gets inflamed, those things that are designed to be inside can then start to leak out. And when they leak out, our immune system flags it and detects it as a bad guy because it's not supposed to be in the bloodstream, and then we have an autoimmune response to it. So some people, they may not have too big of a leaky gut, but they want to maintain their gut, and they feel okay, they feel fine, but what they don't understand is that processed foods and drugs, chemicals, antibiotics cause the gut to get perforated and leaky because it kills the good bacteria on the inside of the lining. So when that happens, since there's no inside-out gut protective barrier, those proteins and those things that are designed to be inside the gut can then leak out too. So one of the things that we do every single day is we take this thing called the Vitalizer. There's one for men, there's one for women, and there's one for people over 50. What it allows us to do is nobody has a perfect diet. Everybody's got gaps in their diet that they need to supplement with. It's a supplement, not a replacement, right? You should still eat healthy food, real food, but then supplement to fill in the gaps. So it's got your vitamin A, D, E, and K, your fish oil, which is anti-inflammatory, the multi-mineral B vitamins, as well as the probiotic. So with the probiotic, and one of the things I like about a probiotic that's encapsulated is it allows it to get through the stomach and not be burned up by all of the acid in your stomach and get into the intestines where it needs to inoculate the gut and help heal the gut. So if you're just trying to maintain your gut, you can consume some type of probiotic, throughout the day. So if your gut is damaged and you can feel that autoimmune response, or you're intolerant to certain foods, then you need to do something every single meal with a probiotic. You can supplement with things like sauerkraut, apple cider vinegar, real live bacteria. Every time I'm at the grocery store and my wife's shopping and I'm just there pushing the cart, she doesn't trust me shopping, is I'll go into the back in the section where they have the kombucha, and I'll get a couple kombucha and I'll drink that through the store, or I'll wait till I get in the car and drink it. So that's every time we go grocery shopping, I get a little extra of that bacteria inside my gut. And since it's not encapsulated and it's in real food form, a lot of it gets burned up into my stomach, and only a small percentage of it, half, a little bit less than half, make it into the intestines. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is time. So, of course, when you have a probiotic or you're trying to heal the gut, it's not going to happen overnight. I don't take this thing because I have any symptoms. I take it because I know that if I don't maintain my gut and there's a cumulative stress damage over time, it's going to cause my gut to get sick. So I constantly do things for it to make sure that it stays healthy. Just like a spine that's subluxated. A subluxation in the spine for 3 or 4 days it's really not that big of a deal. But if it's been subluxated from birth and your child's 5 years old right now and they've never seen a chiropractor, that's 5 years of cumulative stress damage to the spine, which is affecting those organs. If you're an adult, you've never seen a chiropractor, maybe you started seeing a chiropractor when you were 35 or 40, that's 35, 40 years of cumulative stress damage to your spine and those organs that weren't functioning at 100%. So if you think of the example of smoking, I'm not a smoker, I don't plan on smoking, but if I were to have a cigarette today, right, I smoke the cigarette, tomorrow, how would I feel? I'd feel fine. So my false ideas and my incongruent thinking and my false belief system would tell me that since I smoke and I feel fine the next day, that it must be okay. And as parents, we do the same thing to our kids, right? They have a fever, we give them a fever reducer, it's 101, it's not life-threatening, and we give them a fever reducer and they're fine the next day. So what do we think? It's fine. It's fine to give our kids fever reducers. But what we don't understand is that if we constantly do that over time with drugs, suppressing the symptoms and not enhancing the health of the body and just allowing the symptom to do what it is supposed to do, there's a reason that they have a fever, is to help to fight the infection. So when we do that over time, it's cumulative stress damage to the body, and those drugs, antibiotics, food choices, right? Maybe a child was put on some type of formula milk and they shouldn't eat grains by the age of 2. You should not feed them grains until the age of 2 because they don't make the enzyme in their pancreas to break down grains until about 18, 20, 24 months. So if you introduce those little tiny puff snacks that they say are really, really healthy, or you give your kids some Cheerios, with some dairy, it can inflame their gut. So they're starting off like this, not even waiting till an adult to damage it. You're already starting to damage it now. So with that, you need to repair it. So that takes time. Right? So we do the right thing, not because I'm going to feel good or I'm going to see a result tomorrow. I do it over an extended period of time because I want to see that result 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. So when I'm 80 years old and my friends might be sick, they might be dying, I can look back and go, I did something different to create my fairy tale ending. So that takes patience. And I would rather be a slave to good habits than a slave to sickness and disease. So the next thing I want to talk about is liver health. So what most people don't realize is that their liver has a lot to do with their intestines and how your body is able to break down nutrients and it's able to detox things. So your liver is like a filter. It's in the right side of your body. It takes up almost half of your right side, and it helps to filter the blood. So think of it as kind of like the air filter of your body. So if you got a great air conditioner but your air filter isn't working right, how is your air conditioner going to work? It's not going to work to its full potential. So when the liver gets back up and congested, the gut can't do its thing properly and the blood doesn't get filtered. So back when the Gerson Institute first started, this institute I think is down in Mexico. They also have one in Europe somewhere. But there was 35,000 people that cured themselves of cancer without any medical intervention. And when they first opened up, they just gave people raw food, raw whole food. They changed their diet. They took out, the toxins that they were consuming, and they just gave them a raw food diet. And early on, they found out that these individuals were actually dying faster of cancer than the ones that weren't eating a raw food diet. And they said, well, how in the heck can that be? We're taking out the processed food. We're giving them all of the raw food. Shouldn't they be fighting cancer? And what they found is that the liver, so all of the blood from the intestines gets filtered back in through the liver. And when there's too many toxics, so when you eat real food, it detoxes, it pushes out all of the toxins. And when that does that, it goes back up into your liver. And the liver got congested, it got backed up, and it couldn't do that. And then the intestines started to shut down because there was too much stress. So what they did is they realized that since the liver was backing up, we need to figure out a way for the liver to become more efficient. So what they developed was this thing called the coffee enema. And what they would do is literally what it sounds like. They would put coffee in the rear end and they would have it hold there for 10 to 15 minutes. And what that does is it helps to dilate the portal vein. And that's the vein that leads into the liver and pull all these toxins from the intestines. And when they did that, these 35,000 people cured themselves of cancer. So I got lots of friends, family members, even practice members that say, why do you drink so much coffee? You shouldn't drink a coffee every single day. And the bad thing about coffee is all the crap that we put in it. Sugar, creamers, right? Milk, dairy, all of that stuff. So I say all of that to you to help you, give you a pathway to help maintain your gut, right? To fix your gut, and also to keep your liver working like it should. So some people will maintain it every morning with a sip of coffee or two, and other people have to wait and aim for the back end. So you can choose which one you want to do. Bottoms up to you. God bless, and I'll see you guys next week.